This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.
The geeky dad of the week is...
Kerwin Yarde from the Father-Son Galaxy podcast is showing up on this episode this week. Check it out. Okay, kids, I'm the Geeky Dad.
I'm Leon.
And I'm Ariana.
And we're the Multiverse Kids.
And this week we have another Geeky Dad on the show. He's the dad from the Father-Son Galaxy podcast. Kerwin is here. But, that show is all about Star Wars and fathers bringing their love of Star Wars to their kids. And we've been on their show before.
Yes.
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 Now, this episode, we're going to talk to Kerwin about, Star Wars and a lot of things that's coming up with Star Wars. For instance,
The new Mandalorian movie.
Yes.
It's just about Mandalorian.
That's not coming out this year, but I hear it's going to start shooting this year, so it's probably going to come out next year. Okay?
It's about Mandalorian Grogu.
Do you think it's going to come out on streaming first?
I don't think so. It's going to come out in movie theaters first. Okay?
That means it's going to come out in 2026.
Probably. Who knows?
2 whole years.
I know for a fact 2025 is going to be crazy.
Epic. Not
Okay.
epic, but epic.
Might be the most craziest year for movies that they'll ever have. Okay?
Why?
Okay, so what are they going to have?
Well,
Mission Impossible.
probably. Yes. And also this movie and the new Superman movies coming out, and then
Nightwing Superman.
yeah. And then
Nightwing Aquaman?
No.
Huh?
Maybe some other movies coming out, but a lot of big movies are coming out in 2025. Now, there's another Star Wars movie in development.
What?
Heir to the Empire.
No, that's coming down way down the road. Probably 2-3 years after that.
This better not be the Rey movie.
You'll probably be 20 by the time that comes out. But yes, the next one is the Rey movie.
No.
Yes. It's about Rey starting a new Jedi Order. Yeah.
What's she gonna call it? The Rey Order?
I don't know.
She's going to
The
call it
the
the
Rey of
Sith.
Skywalkers. The apprentices of Palpatine.
The daughter of Palpatine.
Palpatine ripoff.
I don't know.
I'm Palpatine because I killed him.
I don't have high hopes for that one.
I really don't.
No.
I don't have any hope for that.
Let's just see what they do with
What
that.
if it is actually good?
I mean, yeah. So after this Rey movie, I think it's gonna be called Star Wars: The New Jedi Order.
That sounds horrible. It should have been The New Generation.
No,
That's old.
that's already the title of
that's
Star Trek or something. Now,
Everything's the new generation. They want to do something new.
The New Jedi Order.
now, I'll tell you this: if they don't have, this is supposed to be set 30 years after The Mandalorian, okay? So how old will Grogu be? He's now 80, I think 87 or
80 something.
80 something years old. So he's supposed to be over 100 years old by then, right?
Yeah.
Do you think Grogu will actually be... If they put Grogu in this movie, that's the only way this movie will actually be good.
Yes.
Okay? Grogu should be in this movie as a Mandalorian. In a Mando suit with a dark saber, okay? If he shows up like that in the movie, that movie's gonna make $1 billion right there.
When he's 100, he'd be like
He'd be like Rayon's age.
Raiden.
No.
Raiden.
He's already like Raiden.
No, he's like 2
He
years
walks. He walks.
2 years old.
He's like a 3-year-old.
Ice's age.
No, he's a little bit bigger than that.
Fine, Raiden's age.
Yeah. Yeah, so if anybody at Lucasfilm is actually listening, and they probably aren't because they're not very that smart, but in my opinion, but you should put that in your movie, okay?
Yes, but
You should just delete all the Ray movies and
Okay,
just
it's too late. They already in there. You can't delete it, unless they go into the world between worlds.
Yeah, they can't do everything that Star Trek always does.
Now, the next movie that's supposed to be in development is The Heir to the Empire, but that's probably going to be way, way off. I think they're using that as their big. This is the end game for Star Wars. You're gonna have everybody's gonna show up.
So you're telling me the original characters also?
Probably.
Yes.
Luke.
Probably.
Ahsoka.
Nobody cares about her.
But what about Leia?
And then they'll probably bring them back too. Now, then there's also another movie in development. It's supposedly called The Dawn of the Jedi.
So this is before everything.
It's about the first Jedi, the first lightsaber, the first everything.
So you're telling me this is a prequel to the prequels?
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense anymore.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have a lot of things to look forward to, okay? We got a new season of Tales of the Jedi.
Yes.
They might be doing a What If Star Wars show, So, yeah. So, let's see.
I have a good idea for the What If Star Wars.
What?
What if the original characters didn't get killed off?
What if Luke and Leia were enemies?
I mean...
What if Leia and Luke switched roles?
There are countless things you could do, okay?
What
Countless.
if Luke and Leia...
Okay. We got our guest coming in. Okay, that's it. We'll be right back after these messages. Hey Ariana, have you ever read the news on the internet?
No, who has time for that?
Well, the Newsly app is an all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android. It picks up web articles about the most trending topics on the web at any given moment and reads them to you in a natural human voice. For the first time, the entire web becomes listenable all in one place. Browse articles from topics you choose and start playing.
Stop scrolling and start listening.
That's right, Rayon. You can follow any topic as specific as you like, from sports to science to even, the Kardashians. Like, who cares about those guys, right? And you'll find the latest articles and they'll read them to you out loud. And, you know what? They even have podcasts as well. Explore trending podcasts from over 80 countries. Our podcast, the Geeky Dad Podcast, is there too. I started using it as my default podcast app. They even have digital radio. So, download and use the Newsly app for free. And, go to www.newsly.me, or from the link in our description, you can use the promo code GeekyDad and you get 1 free month of premium subscription. What do you think, guys?
Cool! That's awesome!
Try the Newsly app. All right, so today we have a very special guest. I've been on his show a couple of times, and I finally got him on my show. Kerwin from the Father Sun Galaxy podcast. How you doing?
Good. Thank you so much. This is a pleasure. Good
Now,
seeing you again.
yeah. So, for our listeners, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and
Yeah.
your podcast?
Yeah. So I have a podcast that my son and I started in 2021. He was 9 at the time. We're both big Star Wars fans. Of course, I started off first. I've been loving Star Wars since I was 12 years old. And I passed it down to my son, and very interesting that, this was around the time The Force Awakens came out. And I was in the bookstore and they had the the little golden books
Right.
of the first 6 Star Wars films. I thought that was pretty cool. So I bought it and I took it home and I, asked my wife if she thinks Keith would be interested. And she said, well, give him the books and find out. And I gave it to him and he couldn't put them down.
Yeah.
And after that, he was ready to see the movies.
I have the
Yeah.
thick illustrated book. It's called 5-Minute Star Wars Stories.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it has they have the whole trilogy and the new ones, everything all wrapped up into one big book.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we had those too. So he just kept, his interest just kept growing and growing. It started with one film and then all of a sudden films, and then we saw the sequel trilogy and he's into the Clone Wars. He's seen more episodes of Clone Wars more than I have. So he really is invested in Star Wars. So we decided that we were going to create a podcast. This was in 2021. We're still getting through the pandemic.
Yeah.
Looking for something to do, something different for both of us, because I've never podcasted before. And
right.
My wife went out and bought all this podcasting equipment, microphones, speakers, and everything, and hooked it up herself. She has a friend who lives in Australia who's a podcaster, so she called her up and got some tips and ideas and put it together. And so we're going on 3 years now with our podcast.
That's cool. And I love your podcast. And I see that you've kind of branched out. You're doing Marvel stuff now, right?
Yeah.
You even did some DC stuff now.
Yeah, very interesting because, I'm not that big into DC, and neither is Keith, but we were interested in seeing The Flash.
Right.
So that's what started all. So
that was a very interesting one.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. So that was a movie that, for better or for worse, we can't stop.
Yeah. So has he seen the original like Batman Michael Keaton movies?
He has not seen the Michael Keaton films.
Okay.
He has seen the Batman TV show with Adam West. That's my childhood.
Right, I did too. Every afternoon, 5 o'clock on TV.
Yeah. So he did catch that, but no, he has not seen the.
I recently had my kids watch that to prepare them for The Flash. Yeah. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, but I guess at some point, he might be interested in seeing the Batman films.
I mean, the pacing of that film is a lot different from modern films, though.
Which the first Batman Michael Keaton film?
Michael Keaton. Yeah, it's a slower pace. Yeah, I think.
I think I'm pretty good with the pacing. I thought it was pretty good.
I think for modern audiences, though.
Yeah, I guess it might be a little slow for somebody who's watching it today, but I still enjoy watching it.
I still love it. Yeah.
Yeah. And Batman Returns, actually. Funny thing, I watched it the first time, I didn't like it, and then I watched it again, and I love it just as much as the first movie. So just the first
I actually like it more than the first myself. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So one day he'll get around to watching the Batman films.
Yeah. How about Star Trek?
Well, no, not much of Star Trek. Although we did try to watch Strange New Worlds, the first season.
Have you tried Lower Decks? Maybe that a little bit risque, but
No, I don't know much about Lower Decks. I know it's an animated series. I have not watched it. What I'll probably do is maybe watch a couple of episodes myself and see if it's something I think Keith would be interested in.
It's kind of like The Simpsons meets Star Trek.
Ah, okay. All right. He loves The Simpsons. So yeah. So maybe
my kids love that show.
Okay. All right. Lower Decks.
And one thing I'm trying to get them into now is Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Okay. All right.
Because
Yeah.
Dave Filoni used to work on that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes, that's where he, you know, got his all his talents up together, with writing and directing animation, and it was because of that show he got Clone Wars.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I didn't know
Yes,
that.
the way he weaves the storylines and mythic and mystical together,
Hmm.
you could see that you just if they had lightsabers, that could definitely be set in Star Wars, you know,
I got it. Okay.
especially
Okay.
the animals are alien, they're kind of weird and everything. Yeah, have you ever seen that show?
No, I have not. No, no.
Check it out.
All right. The Last Airbender.
Yeah,
Okay.
Dave
Got on my
Filoni.
list. Okay. No,
Yeah,
I had no idea. Yeah, I actually thought he just started, um, maybe right out of college and then got a job at Lucasfilm and worked under George Lucas, and then
yeah.
that was it. But yeah, I didn't know that he worked on the Last Airbender.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, what I like to do on this show, I like to give spotlights to dads, and especially geeky dads, because this is the Geeky Dad podcast. And I don't feel I feel like dads don't get the respect that they deserve in modern media.
Hmm. Hmm.
What do you
Hmm.
think?
Well, I don't know. That's a tough question to ask. I guess it depends on, I guess it depends on, as far as media, what do you mean by media? I mean, of course, if you're talking about the news, you're hearing a lot of things about, yeah, you don't hear much about
You don't
fathers
see
or,
positive dads that much on TV. You know,
yeah, I don't know.
Maybe in sitcoms, but
Yeah, I would guess so. Yeah. Well, yeah, yes and no. There's some you could find.
hmm
Yeah, I used to watch this show called This Is Us. I don't know if you
Okay,
saw that.
I've
Right, it
never
was an
seen that
NBC
show.
show.
No.
Right, yeah. So it starred um, Sterling K. Brown. He
hmm
was part of. It's a long story, but he is a father of black father, of course.
Right.
Wife and children. But he was adopted by white parents, and his siblings are white. But you talk about black fathers, that's one that comes to mind.
Right.
But you're right. I think a majority of the dads that you see on TV are a comedy.
Right.
They're kind of like, okay, they're funny or they're silly.
Right.
If you're talking about dramatic storylines, yeah, I think that's one that comes to mind. The
Yeah.
Sterling Brown character. But yeah, I would have to give it some thought to see uh, what other positive dads are out there. I'm sure there's more, but I just can't come up with it right now.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you what was your first, like, how did you fall in love with Star Wars? What was the moment?
Yeah. So the first film I saw was The Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
I
You started from the
remember.
middle. I started
Yeah.
from Jedi.
You start with
First grade.
Jedi. Okay. I
And I
wanted
didn't
to see.
understand one thing at all when I started watching, but I still enjoyed it. And I went
Mhm.
back to look for the rest afterwards.
Yeah. Right. I wanted to see A New Hope, but I couldn't get anybody to take me to see it.
Uh-huh.
So I had to wait 3 more years, and I believe it was my sister-in-law who
The
took me to
days
the theater.
before VCR, right?
Don't remember much about that experience of going. I know I went, but I don't recall, you know, emotionally like what
Right.
impact it had on me, other than, that twist at the end about Vader and being Luke's dad, and I didn't
Yeah.
know if Vader was telling the truth or not, so I didn't have any, you know, I didn't have
You didn't
any
know context.
one name. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I didn't, one way or the other. I didn't know if I should believe him or not, but that did get me hyped up for
Uh-huh.
Return of the Jedi. And then Return of the Jedi, in contrast to Empire Strikes Back, that was the best movie going experience I ever had. So I
Mhm.
went with two of my buddies. We're both Star Wars fans. Well, they are both Star Wars fans, just like me. And the three of us went to Manhattan to see the
Uh-huh.
film. and we just had a ball. It was the first weekend that the movie opened. It was Memorial Weekend.
Uh-huh.
We bought our tickets. We had to wait in line for 2 hours to get into the theater. This is the time when they didn't assign seats.
Right.
So once we got in the theater, we ran to the middle of
Yeah.
to the middle of the theater and got the best seats in the house. It was this was one of the better theaters in New York City, where they had the surround sound, the
Yeah.
big screen. Oh, it was wonderful. Yeah. So that to me is turned it around for me. I love Star Wars after that.
Yeah. So, Keith, which trilogy is his favorite, you think?
I think it would be the original trilogy.
Yeah.
It started off, it started off being, well,
Did he see only the special editions, right?
he saw only the special editions,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
I'm wondering how he would feel if he saw the originals, like the original format.
I don't know if it makes that much of a difference. I know for us,
Right.
for the ones who saw the original
There's
version
slight
of the film.
differences in scenes and stuff like that too, so.
Yeah, well, I guess it's been such a long time that I've seen the original, so I don't recall how different it might have been. But to me, I think they're still great films,
Yes.
regardless
I
of
mean, they're
what version
timeless,
they
I think.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never asked him the question about trilogy. I know there are particular films, Star Wars films that he liked, but we didn't really group them into trilogy except the original trilogy, because we went to see Return of the Jedi just last year for the 40th anniversary. And he said to me that Return of the Jedi is his favorite Star Wars film.
Okay. Cool.
So, so he's seen all three films and he enjoyed all three, but Return of the Jedi he likes the most.
Yeah. See, I started my daughter with The Force Awakens, and she loves all those movies. And then she wanted to see the original. So I started her out with episode 1 first. Okay. And and then we went into the original trilogy after that. And after that, she stopped liking the new trilogy and actually liked the first trilogy. Like, I mean, not like, episode 1, 2, and 3. And her favorite was actually episode 3.
Okay.
Yeah. And for my son, it was New Hope.
Okay.
Much. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah.
He loves Luke. He loves Luke.
Yeah. That's very interesting. Yeah.
He loves Anakin from Clone Wars, and he was like so upset when he found out Anakin turned into Darth Vader.
Right. Yeah. I showed him the films in the order they were released. So it was the original trilogy films first, then the prequels, and then the sequels. I could tell you that, the sequel trilogy, the last two films are not his favorite.
Right. I mean, it's not a lot of people's favorite, but
yeah. His favorite character is Ahsoka Tano.
Yes.
So like I said, he's a big Clone Wars fan. So
we have a lot of big news coming out. There's a new Rey movie. There's a new Mandalorian movie. And there's also sort of an Heir to the Empire type of movie coming out.
Yes.
Well, which one are you most excited for?
Good question. I would say Filoni.
Yes.
I'm looking to see. To me, this is going. I might be hyping it up more than what it really is, but I'm getting the impression that this could be like the end game,
right?
Of Star Wars. Where he brings together.
They need that type of moment. We never had that type of moment before.
Yeah. Bring together all the characters and Mandalorian and Ahsoka and Rebels, and bring them together to fight this. I'm assuming the baddie's going to be Thrawn.
It's a hard job for a first-time movie director to tackle, but I'm hoping he learned a lot from Ahsoka and the other directing gigs that he tried, and knock it out of the park, I think.
I'm hoping so. It is a big movie.
Star Wars needs a big win.
It does need a big win.
Yeah.
What I could say about the Mandalorian Grogu film, it's nice to know that this is going to be the first. I mean, this was a
Yeah.
surprise for everybody.
Yeah.
This wasn't one of the 3 films that they discussed last year, but I can understand why they want to do a movie like this before back into the fans' good graces. You know what I mean? Bring back a character that everybody loves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, get their feet wet again in the movie theaters and bring something out like they did with The Force Awakens. So it's a
Yes.
soft reboot.
Yes.
I'm looking at it as a soft reboot.
Yeah.
So they'll bring in Grogu, and we know Grogu's a hit. The Mandalorian's a hit.
Yeah.
All they gotta do is give us a good story and visual
I hope
effects and
so.
all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
So, I'm running out of time here, and so we got to wrap this up a little bit. Now, thank you for being on the show.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta have you back on. If you can invite me back on your show, that'd be nice too. I would
Sure.
like to be on, and I hope for continued success with your
Thank you.
show, and happiness for your family, and continue health and everything goodness on your side. Okay.
Absolutely. Same to you. All right.
Yes. Thank you, and
All right.
may the force be with you, sir.
Same to you. May the force be with you.
Thank you for being on the show.
All right. Take care. Thank you.